but they're more than 11% of the share of the working population that's black that had a bachelor's degree. But if we move on to more than a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, a medical degree, a law degree, a PhD degree, we find that almost 1/4, or more than 1/5, less than 1/4 of all black workers in the state of Minnesota who have advanced degrees are African. You say, well, I knew that. I knew that. Because we go to the University of Minnesota, you walk around campus, there are more African students at the University of Minnesota, well, at least the University of Minnesota Twin Cities, than there are African American students. Okay, but I want to roll that particular point. I want to talk about, well, are the African American students getting all the good jobs? Well, the African students not getting the good jobs. Well, the answer is that the share of African-born blacks who had bad jobs, but the same as the share of American-born blacks who had bad jobs. Okay, by the way, the share of both African-born and native-born blacks who had bad jobs is considerably higher than the share of whites who had bad jobs. Okay, fine. But now, we also see that even among good jobs, did not just say a moment ago that the African-born blacks are the ones who are more likely, substantially out of proportion of their representation of the population, to have advanced degrees. Did not just say that? Yeah. But they have the same share of bad jobs, as good jobs, as American-born blacks, which is considerably lower than whites in the state of Minnesota. This translates to a very discouraging statistic. And that is that the ratio of mean wage and salary income for African-born blacks in Minnesota to the mean wage and salary income of whites in Minnesota is lower than the ratio of the mean wage and salary income of American-born blacks in Minnesota to the mean wage and salary income of whites in Minnesota. Now, how could that possibly be? African-born blacks are better educated. African-born blacks are no less likely to be in bad jobs. They're not more likely to be in good jobs. So how do you explain why their incomes are low? Okay, I don't want to dwell on this disparity between Africans and African-Americans. There's a story here. There's a story that we need to understand. This story has to do with the fact that the non-white population in Minnesota has grown very rapidly. And as the non-white population in Minnesota grows, by non-white, I mean Asian, I mean African, African-American, I mean non-white, Hispanic, American Indian. As this population grows, the relative position of non-white households appears to be deteriorating. In other words, Minnesota is one of the whitest places in the country. It's certainly the whitest, you said I'm from Baltimore. It's certainly the whitest place I've ever lived.
Yes.
But it's intriguing that as Minnesota becomes less white, the gap between blacks and whites, between non-whites and other whites, is growing. To reverse this relative deterioration is going to require both public and private actions that pose this real and immediate threat. In order to make people of color better off, we may end up making some of the majority worse off. This is the question that you, members of the 18th Annual Pan-Afrikan Student Leadership Conference, this is you, the generation of young leaders and American society will have to grapple with. This is the question that must be confronted. Is it inevitable that strategies, plans, schemes, and programs designed to improve the relative economic well-being of one disadvantaged group will necessarily make the advantaged group worse off? Or stated differently, is it possible to make colored people better off without making white people worse off? Now, the reason why I'm posing this question in this particular context, particularly in light of our statistics that show that the relative position of some colored people of color in Minnesota is different from other people of color, is that a strategy that's designed in order to uplift a whole group of people could be, in effect, one that makes another group worse off. This is the fact that not all non-whites hold bad jobs. It becomes increasingly difficult to improve relative economic being of a specific racial group, like, for example, African Americans who are native born, when either whites or some subsets of the non-white population feel that the advance of that specific subgroup comes at the expense of their own group. Are you following my point? So that's why I began with the somewhat derogatory term, colored people. Because one of the tactics that we must avoid, but a tactic that might evolve nevertheless, in the effort in order to advance the social economic position of people of color, is to encourage the advance of one segment of the non-white population at the expense of another segment. In other words, instead of being a united group of people of color, we may end up being a disjointed group of colored people. Now, what strategies are available for reducing racial inequality? The strategies range from those that seek direct redistribution of income and wealth through involuntary transfers or reparations. In other words, it's just a transfer of wealth from whites to non-whites. That's one extreme. To another extreme, that serves to expand the whole size of the economic pie, and thus to improve the absolute well-being of non-whites without necessarily reducing the relative gap in welfare between non-whites and whites. Now let me be very clear that a strategy that attempts to use that extreme of direct redistribution from whites to non-whites is going to run into this dilemma. Not all non-whites have the same claim on a redistributive scheme. I mean, I'm trying to say that as soon as one group of non-whites says that we got $20,000 compensation for our treatment during World War II, then another group of non-whites say our $20,000 ought to be discounted at the rate of whatever the market interest rate happens to be right now, 3.5%. So our $20,000 has to be the accumulated interest dividends from the whole present discounted value of the stream forborne earnings associated with a period that occurred from 1492 to 1860. Of course, if you calculate that, that's not $20,000 cash. That becomes $20,000 plus compound interest, which added up against millions of people could be trillions, hundreds of billions of dollars. Okay, the point I'm making is that different people have different claims. And as soon as we start talking about hundreds of billions of dollars or trillions of dollars, we're talking about something that's not even politically feasible. But it does pit one non-white group against another non-white group, and it could make all of us a bunch of color folks squabbling over a little tiny pie. So it's another extreme. The other extreme is to try to increase the size of the pie. But how do we increase the size of the pie without uplifting, strengthening capacity in order to produce that pie? There's opposition, moreover, to any kind of direct redistribution. And this opposition is not coming just from race say that union rights don't deserve redistribution. It's not coming from conservatives or neoconservatives, including a growing group of minority neoconservatives. The opposition is now very evidently seen in the inner circles of the new Democratic Party leadership, a centrist leadership that gained its legitimacy from an appeal to core democratic principles, espousing fairness and equity in a society where everyone counts. The opposition from the new centrists comes about precisely because all race-based strategies, not just direct redistribution, but scholarships that are race-based, admissions that are race-based, hirings that are race-based, all race-based strategies offend the popular sentiments that special interests skew the distribution in an unfair manner. That is, that even if the special interests are those of the previously discriminated against group, for whom equal protection of laws and basic protection against discrimination and unfair treatment stems from a model of democratic fairness, even if we have a previously discriminated group for whom we have to pass laws in order to prevent continued discrimination, it doesn't follow, according to the centrists, that we have to do something more to help them. If in doing something more to help them, we are making the majority worse off. This democratic society, the majority won't stand for being made worse off. In order to make the majority, the minority better off, particularly if the majority no longer believes that the minority has justified claim for having an unequal share of the economic pie. I mean, I don't know how I can convince you of the legitimacy of this particular new centrist argument. That argument is saying that we're a democratic society and that the core to the society is fairness, and that it's fairness as defined by the majority. What I'm trying to say is that process matters much in this new centrist ideology. If the rules are not fair, then the outcomes of the process are systemic. Okay. Unfair rules saying that whites go through this door, blacks go through that door. That's unfair. That's unfair rules. So if the rules are not fair, then the outcomes of those rules are suspected. However, if the rules are fair, by which I mean equality of opportunity, there are not separate entrances for whites and blacks. Anybody can go in any door that they want. All you have to do is pull yourself up by your bootstrap, and that opportunity will be yours. Right? If the rules of the game are fair, then what is the legitimacy of a remedy that's designed to correct the unequal outcomes? The answer that the new centrists provide is that if the rules of the game are fair, then remedies designed to correct the unequal outcomes are suspected. And particularly when the remedies on their face are unfair. Unfair to a non-agreed party. In other words, people in 1990 said, I didn't know slaves. The vast majority, forget about what Louis Farrakhan said, forget about what President Shockley is saying. The truth is, the vast majority of whites in America never held slaves. So, the vast majority of whites in America could legitimately say, why then should I be penalized for slavery? Because I didn't own slavery. I'm neglecting the fact that the whole economy prospered as a result of slavery. But, besides that issue, is that you're an individual, you don't so why should I be penalized for slavery? I mean, most of the people in some of the biggest cities in America, great-great-great-granddaddies didn't even live in America. And so, there is the centrist of this. They're offended by the idea that they're being asked to compensate for a wrong that they were not a part of. Many of the new pragmatist centrists argue that, and of course, there's a new president who's been elected based on this, that race-based remedies that make the white majority worse off at the expense of making non-white minority better or unfair. In fact, they believe that the only solution will be non-race-based remedies, and that non-race-based remedies must be devised in order to achieve the goal of raising the position of non-whites without offending the democratic sentiment of the majority. Now, I've been doing some research on this problem, and I went down a long list of all of different non-race-based remedies that have been implemented in the past 75 years in America. Okay. I'm running out of time, so I'm not going to go through the whole list of them. But one of the difficulties is it's hard to find a non-race-based remedy that achieves the goal of reducing racial inequality. Indeed, many of the non-race-based remedies have the unintended effect of widening inequality within a particular group. Okay, so when Harvard opens its doors, when University of Minnesota's doors were already open, but when University of Maryland desegregates, opens up its doors, one of the unintended effects of this equal opportunity was it drove a wedge between poor blacks and more wealthy blacks. Equal opportunity had the effect of advancing the position of blacks who happened to be most ready to seize those new opportunities. In other words, the core of individuals at the time. Talk about the fact I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. Baltimore, Maryland is a city that has had a long history of elite, free black activity. One of the first black newspapers in the country, Afro-American newspapers. Lots of organizations like the Masons and your fraternal organizations, big cohort of doctors and dentists. Okay, their incomes were low, their opportunities were diminished because of segregation and discrimination. As soon as the anti-discrimination laws were passed, opportunities blossomed for them. But you see, this is a core of the most advantaged of the black population. And so if the effect of making the most advantaged of the black population better off is that it widens the gap between the top and the bottom, and if the most advantaged within the black population used to be able to provide the nurturing and the mentoring and the capacity for the least able within the black community, and opening of those opportunities robs the community of that capacity to mentor, nurture, and develop. That one of the unintended effects of opening up opportunities is that you destroy the institutional ability within the minority community to help itself. But two, an interesting thing is that you can actually result in a widening gap among your minorities. I mean, the black colleges in America, for example, used to be the black church in America, for example. The black banks used to be the bedrock for support within the black community. If the only thing we do is create equal opportunity, and if that equal opportunity only has the effect of making the best off, not the better off, but the best off, the blacks at the very top better off, it could have unintended consequences of widening the gap between blacks at the top and blacks at the bottom. Okay, the point I'm trying to make is that, look, a lot of the different non-race-based remedies, and I haven't been able to find one. I'm not saying there isn't one. I'm just saying I haven't been able to find a non-race-based remedy that achieves the goal of reducing the gap between whites and non-whites. That puts me in a very uncomfortable situation. Race-based remedies, but says that we're going to directly attack the outcomes. You're concerned about how many firemen of color were in your fire department. You say, we're going to get 2 firemen of color for every white fireman we hire. Okay. You want to change numbers, then you say, we're going to actually set this goal. It's quota, bad word. People don't like the word quota. But we'll set this quota in order to achieve the goal. That's a race-based remedy, and the point I'm making is that those types of remedies are now offensive to the majority of Americans. Do they work? Yeah. I mean, go around the country and look at the fire departments that use those schemes in order to get increased numbers of minority firefighters. It works. It really does work. Okay. The reason why I've been in a uncomfortable situation is that that scheme, those race-based strategies, which work, are no longer viable solutions from our society because they're offensive to the most basic democratic idea of our being as Americans. The other set of strategies, non-race-based strategies, in other words, the rules will be fair. We're not going to be so concerned about the outcomes. We'll just have fair rules, and all you have to do is learn how to seize the opportunities in order to make those rules work for you. The problem is, I can't think of any non-race-based strategies that in fact have achieved the goal of reducing racial inequality. I have found non-race-based strategies that help some non-whites become better off. All right? But I don't know. That's why I'm here. That's the reason why I want to talk to you. I mean, that's what the future of this group has to lie. Well, I'm going to try to summarize what all this means. It seems to me that there may be some race-based remedies that are offensive to the majority. It seems to me that there might be some race-based remedies that make the majority better off. That makes the minority better off without making the majority worse off. Now, one that I have in mind has to do with something called excellence through diversity. Now, this might be an abstract argument, but I'm trying to make it very clear. Suppose that as the world becomes more global, complicated, markets for goods and services produced in the United States increasingly must find their outlets outside the United States, in Africa, in Latin America, in Southeast Asia. And suppose that the ability to produce, sell, and market those goods elsewhere in the rest of the world demands that our workforce be more diverse. Now, here we have an idea where making non-whites better off is not simply a scheme that improves the well-being of non-whites at the expense of whites, but rather whites have an enlightened self-interest. In fact, not just an enlightened self-interest, but a profit motive in seeing to it that the workforce becomes more diverse. I mean, I teach at the university myself, and I'm amazed about how many students have never heard of Benjamin Banneker. I mean, they don't know who Benjamin Banneker is. And so, or Elijah McCoy. They've heard of the real McCoy, but they don't know who Elijah McCoy was. They don't know that this was a great black inventor who developed the technique for, emitting oil on a lubricating device on machinery. And it seems to me that white students gain by being exposed to diverse cultures and backgrounds, because white students will then be in a position to gain higher income and greater profit through various business enterprises. I'm not suggesting that it's a solution. I'm just trying to say that this is one possible race-based remedy that doesn't necessarily offend the majority. I mean, is it possible for us to craft something that prefers one race, like non-whites who are historically underrepresented in our university, in order to create a diverse student body to provide greater opportunities for whites? In other words, who is the beneficiary? Does it have to always be the case that an affirmative action program or a minority scholarship program limits its benefits to the direct recipients of those scholarships? Is it not possible that the beneficiaries include the majority? In other words, maybe you, members of the 18th Annual Pan-African Student Leadership Conference, maybe you can devise new devices, new techniques for finding solutions to racial inequality. I'm not sure what that solution will be. I'm not sure whether or not that solution will end up being a race-based solution, or whether or not it's going to be a non-race-based solution that has the efficiency gains associated with making whites better at precisely the time that it's designed to lift the socioeconomic well-being of non-whites. But what I do know is that if you fail to discover or invent these solutions, we will all be sorry colored folks rather than proud people of color. Thank you very much.
As you all know, we did start a little late, and we do have another session that's coming behind us, but I think we all benefited from Dr. Meyer's presentation. And I'd like to take maybe 2 minutes for, 2, 3, 4 minutes for question and answer. Do you have any questions for this wonderful?
And none of the race-based remedies seem to be liked. Doesn't that give the speaker an idea that perhaps we are looking at the wrong direction here? We are expecting them to approve helping us to help ourselves, which sounds to me rather practically impossible.
Sure.
Share with you an experience that I had the summer before last in Gabon. This was the second International African Conference. Lots of people are concerned about the inability of African Americans to accumulate capital. Right here in our own towns, even when we begin to help ourselves, without anybody's interest or help, we are confronted with the reality that we're in a global marketplace, and that capital development acquisition is the cornerstone for our ability to be successful in our entrepreneurial efforts. But then we have in the motherland a source of wealth that is either unexploited or is being acquired very rapidly by European interests. And that the only thing that's keeping us from being able to develop manufacturing firms and steel fabrication companies, and I'm not talking about Wendy's and fast food stores, but I'm talking about basic industries. Iron ore, copper, bauxite, and so forth. The only thing that's keeping us from doing it is the fact that the constitutions of a number of African nations prohibit ownership of the basic resources by Africans. So one of the resolutions of this African American Summit was the creation of a special class of dual citizenships, so that you don't have to give up your citizenship in the United States in order to be able to go to Senegal, for example, in order to engage in export activities. Rather, you could, just like individuals in Finland, a number of people living in Minnesota who have dual citizenship between Finland and Minnesota. I mean, there are a number of people who have dual citizenship between Israel and the United States. Well, there's no reason why we might not develop dual citizenship. Startup businesses, you get your computer degree, your degree in accounting, your degree in business management, and let's develop business ties with African nations. I do know that the mayor of Baltimore City has developed an initiative for having greater exports with African nations. Nigeria was the sixth largest exporter of petroleum products. I mean, city governments that are engaging in contracting and procurement can directly contract and procure with African governments. And so that is a race-based strategy. That's what, in other words, what we're saying is that we are developing trade opportunities with Africans and the people who will be permitted to have these opportunities are African Americans. Now, that is race-based. Will that make the centrist mad?
Yes.
Well, the answer is no, because the centrists haven't been denied the opportunity to do business in Africa. If they wanted to do business in Africa, they could have been there all along. So this is the kind of situation where it doesn't take anything away from white people, and it does open up new opportunities for that. So in response to your question, the fact that, well, the race-based strategies seem to offend the majority, the non-race-based strategies don't work. So why are we sitting here waiting for white people to tell us what to do? Well, the response I have is that there are some critical analytical schemes that we can develop that achieve the goal of uplifting non-whites without making whites worse off.
Okay, I believe we have time for one other question.
So I wanted to know, why is it that these benefits continue to make the disadvantaged continuously worse off? And why is it that we have our leaders continuously telling us not to make waves, rock holes, and not to offend the majority? Why is it that we always have to be the ones that have to sit back and try to make it easier for them so we won't be able to get the advantages that we are definitely due for?
Is an explicit attempt to redress problems. Reparations are occurring in Canada, reparations are occurring on the Aborigines in Australia, reparations are occurring right there on the West Bank right now in Palestine. I mean, reparations is a standard vehicle for redressing previous wrong. Okay? 2 points. First point is that the Anglo-Saxon legal model for reparations is that the people who want to get the reparations from slavery were the slave owners. Slave owners had property. Their property was taken away from them. And so it's kind of a double-edged sword as to moving in the directions of saying, look, you guys owe us something, give it to us. If you took it to court, it would be protracted for years and years over a fundamental principle that the law supports the claim of the party that lost its property, and slave owners lost their property. And having said that, economists have been engaging for 25 years in this debate about computing the discount value of foregone earnings of slavery, the cost to life and limb associated with middle passage, and the value of the slave labor. Okay, man won the Nobel Prize this year, or last year, for writing a book on this economics of slavery. I am not of the opinion that that is our best strategy for this simple non-economic reason. Economists are back and forth about what that value has to be, but it's a non-economic reason for us. I want to live there. This is my home. I don't want to have a cross on my front lawn. I don't want to have my daughter, splashed with paint. I don't want to have people, vandalizing my car. Now, this is where I live. This is my home. I know that as soon as we elevate the argument of give us our due, the same things that can happen up in the upper parts of Minnesota with respect to issues of fishing rights of Indians, the same thing that happened to Indians in the Arctic, northern parts of Canada, the same problems that were confronted, not American Indians, but East Asian Indians in India because of their affirmative action law, is going to happen to us. That we are going to become the new victims because of the nature of backlash of the majority. So my response to you is, I'm concerned about what the majority thinks because I'm concerned about trying to make a life viable in this society.
You know, I think we could go on for quite a while. Dr. Myers is going to be with us through lunch, and I invite you to grab him at some point and continue your discussions. We're going to take about a 5-minute break. Make sure you come back for the sister.
Make certain that you have been borrowing them. And I didn't know you had to wear some of the turtlenecks and fun stuff. My name is Anita Gay. I'm one of the facilitators, along with Mr. Lisa Joe Young, for our joint session. Yesterday we had for women only and for men only sessions, and we're having our joint session for today. Once again, to continue the kindling of our relationship and the bonding and the acknowledgement of ourselves, of our unity. We've been talking about that throughout the conference for the past day, unity. And I know we need to talk about it so we can eventually walk the walk of it. And that's why we want to be able to continue to plant the seed of it, and that it doesn't end here in Mankato, but it's with us within our hearts when we go to our various destinations. And so we begin conversations here, not end them. I wanted, Leroy reminded me of some of the world tragedies that are going on, and certainly there are many that we always don't hear about that we need to be mindful of, or make certain that someone brings to our attention. But in Palestine, we've had another tragedy of a mass killing for people because of differences, because of maybe even some misunderstanding. And I'd like for us to add that situation to our list of a moment of reflection and meditation and prayer for those of us who may even have our own personal kind of tragedies and griefs and kind of burdens, and acknowledge those that may be going on in our homes in this country, but perhaps as we've not been able to see throughout the world. So let's continue this moment in reverence and in prayerful thoughts for that situation and then for your own. And I'll end it with an amen. And those whose spirits are led to say so, let all those say, amen.
Well, one of the things that I'm not anxious about it, but I'm just curious, because I know last year when we did the joint session actually came immediately after we were in the Brothers Sisters separate session. And the brothers greeted the sisters.
And we like that.
And I know that it's the kind of thing that that we have to continue to do on a regular basis. So I would invite at this moment all the brothers to greet the sisters in any way you feel fit, but something out of respect, some of the sisters around you, and then continue to do so. And at the same time, I think, as we talked about yesterday, there's always a reciprocal, and that reciprocal isn't based on you getting it in the first place. Oftentimes we kind of live by the motto, if do unto others as you would have them do unto you. But if they don't do it unto you, do it anyway. Because you never know how much you can affect and influence a person just by your own actions and your own behavior. I know that's what we talked about and shared in the brotherhood session yesterday. And just to continue that. So just take a moment to greet a few of the sisters around you.
Greetings, my beautiful guests.
Just sitting here waiting for my greeting.
I got pictures of y'all, by the way, y'all.
Well, I'm glad that you're here.
Okay, Kim Fox first.
We can do this later.
I know. That sure felt good. And thank you all very much for extending that. And I don't know if it felt phony, did it? It felt pretty good. It felt real. Okay, well, let's do it tomorrow. I feel later on today. And then next week when you see me, let's do it. Ladies, excuse me, ladies. All of you stand, please.
Oh, that's right, that's right.
All women. And we have a couple of spokespersons who like to say something to you, who are representing us in a voice spirit.
To all our brothers, our heroes, who are heroes earning respect on site, we pledge not to have you just earn respect on site, but to give it to you earnestly. We pledge not only to respect you on site, but even when you are absent. To you, our heroes, we as your sheroes pledge to the meaning of sheroes. S, stand by you. H, help and honor you. E, exalt you. R, reverence you. O, open to you. S, and strengthen you. We ask you to remember that we love and appreciate you for who you are, not just for what you are. Your sisters.
All right. All right.
opening session of the joint session.
That's right.
Rather than missing that. And that's maybe sometimes a disadvantage of the activity. But the joint session and us taking some time to nurture ourselves, I think that's a little bit what we're doing. To me, it's so key for the conference and so key for us as a family that it's significant that we take that time to remind ourselves of our collective and collaborative beauty. Unity speaks to it, emotion speaks to it, and when we now look at the different principles of the Digitized, our several principles, we'll find out how endearing they become to us and how significant each one of them become part of our way of living. And hopefully throughout the conferences to come, we'll be able to work all of those principles within our hearts and within our souls. We're going to take the next few minutes just to share some things, to get some feedback a little bit, and we'll then be timely for getting to
Well, here's what I was going to do, and I think in an interesting way, Anita and I may be on the same wavelength. Going to play a little role. We're going to do a little role play here, and using some of our own poetry that we are gifted and inspired to write, to kind of express feelings that sometimes we don't express as easily as we feel them. And I think, sometimes you talk about, well, black men have a hard time expressing their feelings. Sometimes that is true, but in all cases, the feelings are probably still there, whether they're able to express them or not, or express them as eloquently as they might want to. So we're going to take some time and to share some poetry between one another, and to stimulate some thoughts and ideas that you might want to share among, in this session here as we continue on. And I'm going to start with a kind of a poem that talks about what you feel when you meet somebody.
Okay. One day he and I did a poetry thing unexpectedly, and we have complimentary poems. And it's like, wait, I got one for that. So we didn't, in mine, we had boxes of poems. But it was the timing of that was really good.
I've only imagined of a woman like you, so fine, yet I hardly know how much love you have inside, and how much yours and mine will grow. Straightforward I will always look, although with caution I should stride, and one mistake I'll never make, to mix my loving with my pride. I love you like I love you. I know yours is the same. Real love has led us and taught us to grow from that old game. Now life's ahead to share this love. Let your feelings flow tonight and forever. With our hearts, let's melt so much chocolate pudding.
DJ? In the magic of the morning, when the day opens its eyes to Mother Earth, think of me. I'll be thinking of you. When the flaming sun shines down and radiance and sprinkles the glow over Mother's Earth, smile for me. I'll be smiling for you. When the sun sets and the leaves are dancing to the music of the wind, want me. I'll be wanting you. When the snowflakes fall to cover with a white carpet Mother Earth, miss me. I'll be missing you. In the quiet of the night, as you close your eyes to rest, dream of me. I'll be dreaming of you. And when we are apart from one another, please know the loneliness I feel. And love you. I'll be loving you. And if you can't do that, come share the rain with me. And let it fall gently as my kisses all Come share the rain with me, the freshness that comes like you with me.
Don't let us down, Joe.
The depth of my love goes deeper than any man can dream to explore your physical womb. The depth of my love gets underneath the skin which Amun-Ra has so richly and naturally tanned. The depth of my love uncovers green and through contact sleeved extensions and artificial flesh. The depth of my love is wide enough to embrace you and yours with room to spare and more to share. The depth of my love is charity, which is love for those who didn't understand the King James die version. The depth of my love needs love that is deep and wide, uncovered, natural, and real. The depth of my love is God, Allah, Elohim, El Shaddai, and Jesus. Yeah, my love is deep. The depth of my love built the pyramids, the Sphinx, healed the sick, raised the dead, still building, healing, and raising. The depth of my love is time in time, cosmically and eternally, continues to renew itself in a round. The depth of my love destroyed Rome in a day, which is 1,000 years for those who don't understand today. The depth of my love flows from the Nile to the Mesopotamia to be sure that the world is really upside down. The depth of my love engages creativity to demand a better place for this love which it cannot possibly contain. The depth of my love can be found on Mars, Venus, Vulcan, Rigel, the galaxy Andromeda, and beyond. The depth of my love is time, flowing, building, creating, and destroying, omnipotently, omnipresently, and omniscient. Yeah, my love is deep.
Talk that one. Yeah, that's right.
Well, this poem is for you. You know, you have the qualities of many righteous brothers, some who have been my lovers. But what could I tell you today or ever that will keep you strong and loving forever? Now, you know, we've had those worn-out conversations of black men and women and our relations, and I was tired of that same old talk. But I knew that from this discussion, I could not walk. We talk about black women and black men and how we don't understand them. And I had no more answers or salve for this pain, because I too have been in this love walk, and you see, this poem is for you. Now, there are sisters who really do care, those of us with our own nails and hair. Want a good man like you. But we got no manual on what to do. There are sisters standing alone, yet strong, trying to right relationships gone wrong. There are sisters knowing the stuff that you are made of, and just like you are needing and wanting to love. This poem is for you. You know, when I was 5, my first love started with a Jane, and over the years they have been various names. I ended up marrying one named Claude and forgot to replace him with God. Consequently, my world would never be the same. I didn't have the manual, remember, to this new game. Then there were those that never loved me back. Our loving was only hopping in the sack. Yet I knew I would heal and peace would return, because love is something you have to earn. You see, this poem is for you. I hope you keep all the qualities I like and admire, and know that you await for your own heart's desire. And you know that black men and women's relations must be nurtured with patience. And although I'm old to be somebody's mother, my views are like any other lover. I have seen faces like yours a dozen times, but it's you who has inspired this rhyme. Yes, this one. One that will hold tight to my hand and will clearly understand that we are part of a greater plan. I want a better man whose mind will expand the existence from which life began, and it will continue to span. You see, I want a better man, one who will band for just us rather than some loose strand. I want a better man. He knows that together we will command. It's our special brand. It's the uniqueness of our clan. I want a better man. The trials and tribulations he'll withstand. Oh, he won't be a Superman, but he won't be blamed. I want a better man. One that will say, yes, I can. As he holds firm to our wonderland and our love is sealed with a gold band. I want a better man, and he will be Pan. And I simply demand that he be a grand, tan, Christian, African.
And with you, I have all the love I need. Anyway, no, I think we shared that because I mean even in the the acknowledgement of the words and the phrases, the feelings that are there that we express are feelings that I'm sure you identify with, feelings that you've experienced or want to experience. Matter of fact, there's another poem. There's a story behind this poem because this is a woman I met one time, had a conversation with her for 2 hours, and haven't seen or heard from her ever since.
She got a poem.
But it's the impression that she left on me. And oftentimes we meet people that leave impressions with us, but we never get a chance to share that impression with them. And I think. I once met a woman, sophisticated and vivacious, a woman in the world in a child's house. Only heaven could have inspired her awesome youth. From the curves of her lovely physique to an intellect that rivals any thought ever known, to the sensitivity only mild possessed. Her skin is cocoa brown and smooth, her hair long, soft, and waved, her legs supple and shapely, her pupils full, her eyes slanted. She discusses Shiva, analyzes Plato and Socrates, quotes Confucius, relates to Solomon, believes Jesus. She doesn't wear a kimono, nor veils her hair, but she walks softly in her China doll. That was her name, China doll. Oh, no. She was an Amerasian. Her father was a Vietnam brother from East St. Louis who was killed in Vietnam. Before he was killed, he fathered her. And in the process of coming to the United States, her mother was killed. So she grew up with her aunt in East St. Louis. And if you've ever seen a unique mix of a Vietnamese and a very dark-skinned brother, she had, like, for me, just perfect everything. And as soon as she opened her mouth, she verified it. And I think this is the thing for me that impressed me the most, because lots of good-looking sisters. In this room, lots of good-looking sisters. What impresses me the most is how you confirm that with what comes out of your mouth. There's a scripture that Jesus says, it's not what a man takes in, but what comes out of his mouth that defiles him. It defines you. And I think, our process of greeting you, your process of acknowledging us, and the continuation and perpetuation of that is what determines what we get out of the relationship with one another. We talked about yesterday in the brotherhood session the definite need to be self-defining and to be a man and have your stuff correct before you step to someone else. Because you cannot engage in a relationship with someone else unless you got stuff together. And that goes for any kind of relationship, and the different things that we've talked about in the conference, from the relationship between continental Africans and African Americans, or the relationship between African people and other people. Unless you're able to come correct, you're going to step wrong. There's no doubt about it. And I'm sure most of you have been in relationships and had those experiences where you or the other person or both of y'all step wrong because you didn't come correct with yourself from the beginning. And that's all begins with being able to be honest with yourself. The poems that I shared were poems that reflected my thoughts about myself, my initial feelings about meeting someone else, and my desire to be with someone else. We live in a society today that has a great deal of confused sexual values. And I want to kind of discuss that a little bit because I know we dealt with ourselves individually yesterday, but I think there are some issues that we have to focus on as African people to make sure we're really self-defined. Because the focus and the center of the relationship of African people exists between the relationship of an African man and an African woman. And that's not to say, I didn't say an African boy and an African girl, or an African male and an African female, but an African man and an African woman. And in the midst of trying to get to that manhood or womanhood state, or stay in that state, we have the kind of thing that Western society has thrown out at us in terms of all the different kinds of values of sexuality. When I say I made love last night, that has a certain connotation. You think that I did a particular sexual act of intercourse, when all I could have just been doing is sharing poetry. Or I could have been enjoying a conversation with a sister who is just a sister to me and has nothing to do with her sexuality. But those are the kind of things that we've taken on in terms of definitions, and they define how we relate to one another. And so what I want to do is just kind of get some feedback and some thoughts about the kind of pressures that we have to overcome in order to be real men or real women.
You know, when you was discussing some of the behavioral, just explicit sexual activity, especially in our society and in our culture now, as far as our music things, it's our sisters. I look at you, all of you sisters here, dressed the way you're dressed right now, and you know, I can see your shape, and I can see how lovely you are, and this is what brothers say. You know, they look at whatever video it is, and the sister with the Daisy Dukes on there, shaking all her private parts out, all out in the video. He's saying all that's fat and she got back. He's saying I want to get with her, but I don't want to make her my woman. And to my sisters, I would just say that, you know, we sit around talking with brothers, and we say certain things like I like to get with her.